one place we aren't dropping, Sam, that is probably going to be Primorsk. Because for the first time today, and this playing path ain't even that bad, Joro. But for the first time today, I feel like we have a playing path that ain't great either.
Yeah, very big skew here. It's going to be interesting indeed. 4 o'clock to 11 o'clock, give or take. Even Pachinki's going to be a little bit of a stretch, but I'm sure we'll find a way. We're certainly seeing no Gatka field endings off the end of this circle. I suppose with 4 8 o'clock hard shifts we could, but my God, surely not. This is going to be a fun one. I don't know how many alternate drop spots are in play, and therefore I don't know how much early game shenanigans we've got. BBL and Heroic so far are quite close to each other, but when you're parachuting, it's a bit deceptive.
Yeah, you could argue, unless if you were given knives and you could,
Dessa vez a gente vai ter uma safe militar, hein? Vamos ter uma safe militar, hein? Já pensou? Safe militar.
Entangled.
Yeah, something like that. I am seeing what looks to me to be a contest for vehicles up by Cube, though. So despite the fact that BBL and Heroic can all be nice and dandy while flying next to one another, if they were opted to go for the same holy circle.
Beleza. 90% eu já vou xingar, né, mano? 90% fechou na água, tá ligado? Tem uma ilha imaginária lá que fechou lá. E eu já vou chutar que a gente vai ter uma safe que vai fechar poliano. Ou ela fecha embaixo de Stalber, tá ligado? Nas montanhas lá. Só vamos lá. Última da partidinha de hoje, velho.
Made it hard for the players to adapt. So this time around we get the massive shift right off the get-go, and maybe that's gonna mean that the rest of it here will be more straightforward.
So let's give all of you guys at home a little bit of an idea on how this is going to play out. First of all, the first circle is centered just southwest of Kameshki. About 40, maybe 35% of the circle is water, so it's not huge. And it's important to note that in fact, all of the area inside the circle is playable except the Asnaya Lake. So it's not like we're going to see wild shifts here, there, and everywhere. We could go all the way back down south to Mansion. We could end up on top of Stalba. There are like a couple of circles that we know and love, but we've also got cliff endings north of Lipovka. We've got Kameshki. We've got east of Severny. We've got going down into Yasnaya still. There are a couple of crazy ones in there as well.
Sure. One of the teams right now sitting in a pretty wide split. They'll have to figure out exactly what they want to do is BBL. Let's take a look here. Their performance from G-Loot Season 5. I mean, they are a powerhouse. Again, I mean, in similar fashion to Heroic, as soon as they get going, they
Eu lembro dessa play.
Unstoppable. And last game, obviously.
Eu lembro dessa play, mano.
What better to try and mitigate that kind of point gap up towards Entropic at the top. But then we talked about it when we saw Entropic fall in the previous game. We said, who is going to be that team that comes out and catches up? And BBL, I mean, 26 points that game couldn't be done any better.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. They're having a good time. They are a little bit, how do I put it? It's more difficult to predict BBL's performances than some of the other teams that are more momentum based.
Yeah.
BBL are capable of having a great game and then a bad one after the other. But conversely, they're also capable of having a terrible game and then coming back and casually winning the next one. Nothing phases them at all. And they're very good at resetting and taking each game as it comes. So they've now had a fantastic taste of victory there. That gets them up to 3rd place overall. Let's see how close they can get to FaZe in this final game.
One thing that I think is interesting as we see everyone again, I mean, Northern Lights.
Meu Deus, já foi Northern Lights, já foi pro todo.
Always praised the team for never losing people early. This tournament,
they consistently
the
done that,
entire tournament, they have struggled. Just that, and of course, this right here is just. I don't want to say poor, but unlucky for like time. Through that, but that is just not the way you want to start off pretty much every single game today.
Batulin's up the mountain, Batulin's in the fields.
Yeah,
the guy needs to catch a break, man.
It really has gone against him, and when it hasn't been him, Perfectix has been the one to fall on like early on rotations too. Again, and where the wild thing to me is that had it been any other team, it would still be unfortunate, obviously, but you wouldn't think that much about it. Here, it's the team that literally never loses people early, and when it happens so much as it has over the course of this tournament, you just can't help but think that there's more to it than just, oh, that was kind of unfortunate.
Something Maybe it's something to do with the way everyone else has reacted to them winning everything. I don't know, like closing off those avenues of rotating, understanding what those timings are looking like a bit early on. I'm not going to read too much into it this game because 2 players in the fields early on is a bit unlucky. Footballers, well, they definitely know someone's here. Here come the grenades into Hal. Do they know it's 2?
Split. They're so split. There's no play here for just buying time for your teammates to get back to the spot. They need to get all the kills on themselves for themselves. Unfortunately, Football is nice approach in this one. Yes, Odin does go down early on, but the fact that they peek on over, they get the nade on, and then now they throw the molly, or is that another nade? I think it might be, to get the flush on as well. Smart schematic approach to this one by Footballers. I like their approach.
Yeah, very, very strong stuff there. Really nice, clean engagement as well. There were 2 players there. Yes, they had one of their own players knocked, but insta-smoke, carried on, made sure the compound was clear before disengaging and healing up. Really nice, clean play there from Footballers.
Everyone in the meantime, or Footballers included, I should say, trying to grab themselves a spot in the circle. And Tropic getting up here early, securing some East Coast real estate. Should be able to sit tight here at least for a little while longer. And I like when you have these teams that sit up on the edge and then spread out to make sure that you have that sort of not only space for yourself right now, but also space to maneuver come next circle. So wherever it goes, you know that as soon as you get into the car, you won't get shot at because you've secured like a solid 500-600 meters of space that you have to get into the car, get moving, get accelerated, and become, even if somebody does start shooting at you, a harder target to hit.
And that's going to be the key, right? If you're able to adapt and have flexibility in your position, it gives you more options. When you have that split second to think about, what do I do if I'm being shot from this angle? It's not panic because you're forced into doing one thing that might not be good. You've got options available. So provided you still have your wits about you and your quick thinking, it does buy your way out of a lot of tricky situations in this game. And that's why the prep work, positioning your vehicles, understanding what the escape routes are, knowing where you're going to rotate to next, is so important in PUBG. A lot of the stuff that you don't necessarily see that all these teams plan in advance.
Exactly. One thing I think as we see the rotations coming through here, if we go back to Northern Lights just for a split second, one thing that adds to the danger of them is, as much as we talk about how they've been taking casualties early game and it's unlike them, they're still sitting in 4th place at 135 points. I mean, it's not like they're having a bad tournament at all. The entropic playstyle and avoiding confrontation early to then be able to
testar um negócio.
the late game, you know, have the numbers late game equals wins. At least it does, or has oftentimes done for Northern Lights. They can't utilize that to the same extent when they've lost players that early. So still being able to sit up there in 4th place just goes to show the capabilities of that team. There's a reason why they literally won everything there was to win last year. They are just that dangerous, even when they're quote-unquote not having as good a tournament as you thought they would.
Não, olha só isso aqui, 400 DPI, General Sense de 40, 42 ADS e FOV 90. 400 de DPI, cara. Mano, Cara, 400 de DPI, mano, tu tem que dar uma aremada tão gigante no mouse, velho. Tá ligado? Sério, não vou nem comentar, velho.
You know, it's not like they're going to score 0 points on a day. They can score a moderate number of points in a day and still be okay.
Yes.
The job's not done yet, but they've given themselves the best possible cushion, I feel.
Yes, a moderate day I can go with. A bad day, like if we're talking sub-double-digit points in a day.
Oh no!
That's
Danger Town.
The run being open for everyone else again. And I honestly, I mean, despite the fact that they have a good lead now, we haven't.
Vou nem comentar, velho. Aqui, ó. Se ela puxar para baixo, a gente tem grande chance dela fechar a poliana e para esses campos abertos, tá ligado? Se ela puxar para cima e parte dela para baixo junto, focando em Stauber, a gente tem uma safe igual da PGI, tá ligado? Onde fechou para baixo de Stauber nas montanhas e simplesmente a FaZe Clan ganhou aquela partida, se não me engano. Aí é uma safe aqui, ó. E nesses campos aqui onde é que tinha liquid tá, nessa região aqui. Ó. Se ela fechar. Pode fechar aqui também, ó, pra cá, ó. Onde a esse tá. Ela foca a centralização toda nessa área aqui. Ó, tá vendo? Vamos que vamos. Ou é aqui. Ou literalmente aqui. Ou aqui em Stauber.
phase 3.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
Well,
what
this
I'm
is-
looking for.
We're just spinning things
Aqui é uma posição muito
around.
boa.
We had-
Ó, exatamente aqui, ó. Onde é que o Tixo tá indo. Eles vão parar aqui e depois eles vão splitar pra cá, ó. Literalmente, essa posição é muito boa, velho.
RV have to get in, BBL have to get in. Code Marco's going to be happy with that Orm he just looted as well, and the fresh level 3 gear. FaZe Clan are now moving across the Yasnaya fields. This is the these are the fields to the east of Yasnaya, by the way, not the to the south of them.
I'm looking and listening toward Tekkers and Hitman, and doing the fact that they're not in the car shit helps me worry. They're sitting in a two-way split, and they are going to get pulled up on here. Why? I mean, even if they do have a chance to come out of here and stuff, why not leave earlier? 8C finds Tekkers. Hitman does get an angle to one. Finds the first.
Nossa, fez.
He gets more of it, though. I feel like they had a chance to disengage. They didn't. Now it's on to Hitman to stay alive here alone. As I say,
Yeah,
that
I
Salty
agree.
is in the car, pushing forward. Nixie is coming as well. Trying to see if they can get up here and save them. Unfortunately for him, and he is doing all kinds of work to stay alive as a solo player right now. But that nade went in somehow.
Ai.
Now he will fall. So Nixie and Salty are here, but too little, too late. They have just given up prime real estate to come help their teammate. And now Sakura Sanson are falling apart. There was a chance for them to leave. They didn't take it.
Yep, this is Sakura Zenson made all the correct decisions 5 to 10 seconds too late is how I would describe that. They could have left the compound a little bit early. You saw the bike in the corner of the room where He-Man was. It was well protected. The tires were never getting popped, but it would have taken him ages to get to the room. And then unfortunately, Nixie just came in way too late to help after everyone had knocked, and I think even been flushed at that point. So it just ends up being a bit surplus to requirements. Salty, sadly, down to a solo this early in the game.
Where does he go from here?
Caramba!
He ends up out in 16th, off of having prime real estate, but not regrouping fast enough. They fall in 16th, and the team to kind of capitalize off it, obviously FaZe get themselves a center compound, but Entropic now gets to steal that two-way split. I mean, that is, that's just how fast they are. They take that
So
instantly. BNR in the meantime got himself knocked dead. Ooh, spots one.
Ai.
How do you spin up that and catch one on the roof?
Man.
Amazing
is just
ballet
insane.
going on there. Yeah, that is a delightful pirouette from Example. Really, really good stuff. And Road to Glory, 1 down, make that 2 down with BNR in the background, falling to Melman a little bit earlier. Na'Vi are sitting comfortably on the southern side of the circle. They'll have problems to solve, to be fair, but they're also perfectly happy playing edge and fragging their way in.
You can, like, when you do these sort of flick returns, you can do it
Eu sei, eu.
at a horizontal level as yourself, but he not only
Yeah.
had to 180, he also had to kind of look
Nossa, velho.
up into the sky in order to find
Eu só olhei e depois morreu.
Trade. That is insane. Let's see. Doesn't hit the first one.
One.
And
Pé.
Ooh, that's impressive.
O cara do telhado se precipitou demais, velho. Ele puxou muito tipo assim, muito rápido, tá ligado? Ele devia ter entrado dando capa no cara e acertou a maioria dos tiros no peito, tá ligado? Literalmente no peito. O XMPR já acertou, tipo assim, literalmente tudo na cabeça quase dali, tá ligado? Literalmente, a puxada deve ter sido violenta do mouse pra cima, olha, porque... Mas o cara no high ground tinha total vantagem, cara, tá ligado? Literalmente total vantagem ali, mano. Sabe? Ele vacilou, mano. Literalmente vacilou feio ali.
Valley, I salute them because they'll probably be going down and out in a hurry, but it seems to me like they're full committing to Footballer's position, and Footballer's the current split 2-2. That's dangerous. Same thing here happening on the other side of the circle, up towards the mountain. Here are Northern Knights ready and waiting. Evie does manage to find one, but Factix can't reload in time, so he's gonna go down now as well. Luke finds the second one comes through, but somehow it's Skate. It's Skate victorious. And I can't help but think, had Northern Lights been 4, that would never have gone against them.
Yes.
They
Good
lose
point.
Patulans early, that's them down and out now. Not because the firepower of Patulans wasn't there, but essentially, yes, because they didn't have the 4th member to take over when one had to reload.
That's a really good point. Northern Lights, still, we were looking at that going, they should have won that fight. But
Nossa, Cheese, daí tu vacilou feio, né?
Even been a question.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I completely agreed with you there. Northern Lights maybe having a couple of games to forget here on day number 4. We still have 10 games left to go for them, though, and they are still sat in an excellent position on the points table. So, by no means count out a revival. And I'm sure maybe there'll be a week 2, day 3 team. Who knows?
We saw Rick making their way towards
That
the compound
shadow, do you
before.
see
Mano, o cara...
Full speed forward into the compound, upside down, doesn't matter how we go about it, but now they're here. They make their way on in. Oh, that may be good, doesn't go far enough.
É que essa... Como é que essa guy nocou o Melman, velho?
Hold out now. The Alia does get to wrap around, but does, I think, realize that Ibako is over on the other side. Hiruzen knows that he's just in the wall now.
Alia didn't spot him through the open door. That was critical. Now moving to the next house. Double's been spotted. He'll be relaying that information to the player behind him. Have we got Hiruzen? Yes, he manages to get Quizzy. Are we going to see a second one? Closing the door.
Buy yourself all the time that you can here. Double caught with Nate in hand. Peeks on out and Alia wins the trade. So incredibly terrifying to go up against the Hiruzen though.
Nossa senhora, velho!
Utility all over the place, but fortunately, utility will be what wins Thunder. That fight there. In the meantime, speaking of utility,
Ai, jeez, velho!
triple with a nade down the field below.
Hal now third-partying football list. They are trying to take out Regnum Kaya, but look at where football has died. If you push into a compound like that, especially when there's limited real estate, that's fine, but you have to do it quickly. You need to get out of your cars, get the kills you need, and get behind cover. Let's see if FaZe Clan can do any better. Apocalypse desperately trying to hold on. He goes down now. Slippy Zerg still up there. Full Regnum Kaya, and football is eliminated amongst the midst of this, but FaZe Clan still have a fight on their hands.
Que nem fudendo, vai.
They know that they have a footballist player still lurking in the compound.
Nem fudendo, era 3 times ali.
Finds 2 from FaZe on their rotation on into the compound itself. Insane from Rick to both hold off the Ents approach, but also have kind of the excessive energy to take
Caramba.
out the footballist player there too. Very, very impressive help by Rick.
Hal, you can't drive that.
Não, olha isso. Não, olha isso. 158 balas de 762. Olha a quantidade de HE que esse cara tem na bag, velho. Literalmente 3 HE. Se eu não me engano, acho que tinha 4 smoke e 2 molotov. Se eu não me engano. Eu queria ver que bag que é, tá ligado? Eu não vi os utilitários, tipo, nossa.
And Team Rage are getting absolutely destroyed from Regnum Kaya back in the compound.
Team Rage thought they were blessed with the opportunity on to wreck from above, but they did not account for Team Liquid still being alive behind them. Thought the plateau after seeing FaZe leave was theirs to grab. Liquid denies advance, though unfortunately does fall down. Still managed to get a few kills for his team. One more nade lobs on through. That's Rustin out with another double. So much utility being used here in the early game. And I don't feel like there's space for more vehicles down there. Speaking of utility, Squeaky continuing where the rest of the people left off.
Insta-res maybe onto Ruin because Ents are going to take a little bit of time. Either the utility kills you or it doesn't. No, never mind. Oh my god, that second molly!
Yep,
that is literally inch perfect. Poor Eski. Let me into the PRTM!
Yeah,
it's right there. Let me in.
Not gonna happen. It will grant you the cover. Oh, get away from there. Skid's gonna blow up too. Yep, Tixu. Able to get him down. Utility is all they needed to deal with him down below. Rustin, in the meantime, trying to peek on overs.
Tu só vai ver PCS6, tá ligado? Os caras vão estar anunciando, né? Limitação, tá ligado? Literalmente, limitação das granadas, tá ligado? Molotov e os caralho. Vão diminuir a quantidade de granada que o pessoal pode carregar. Tu só vai ver, velho. Eu ainda, cara, sério, eu ainda tô tentando entender como é que um cara consegue carregar tanta HE, tá ligado? Tanta HE, tanta molotov, tanto tipo periférico. Olha lá, mano. 5 kit 10 bandagem, ele tá de bag 3, tá ligado? Só que, mano, 178 balas de 762, cara. A quantidade de HE que esse cara tem, velho. Tá ligado? Tipo, mano... Eu não consigo carregar isso, cara. Já tentei, velho. Tá ligado? Literalmente já tentei, mano.
Oh, well, we're forcing everyone out into the open. I'm curious to see if Ents is just going to fortify that, well, fortification in the middle of the circle, or if they're going to try and see if they can hold out people in the north. I would agree with you. Go center, fortify, play on the down low at least for a little while, and let the chaos unfold around you as opposed to having to take part in it.
Look, you have the risky play and you have the safe play, and right now fortifying the center of the circle literally makes this game easy for Ents, right? Not even ironic, not even joking. Whoa, clip there with the airtime.
The nade! from Rustin.
Perfeita. Perfeita granada, velho.
Not quite getting within eyesight. Very close to that, though, as well. I don't think Clip's getting revived off this unless Rustin Mar goes down now.
We have 6 teams alive in phase 5. I mean, this is as much game.
2 quitão verde o cara tem na bag. 8, nossa, 8 HE, velho. Ah, 8 smoke. O cara tinha 2 quitão verde, 8 smoke, cara. Caralho, velho. Eu queria saber que... Eu só não vi aqui. Deixa eu ver. Não, esse aqui é o outro. Olha só, 162 balas, ele tá de mini, beleza. 4 HE, 5 smokes, se eu não me engano, foi isso?
Liquid appear to be just about holding their own against Ents. Rustin Mar is going to move
Oh.
out, and therefore, focus now turns to Entropic. They're on the southwestern edge of the circle, trying to dissuade Thunder
Caramba.
from being anywhere close to them. They're playing that massive ridge. It's very important that they don't have anyone capable of backstabbing them, so they're trying to get Thunder out. Unfortunately, I think Thunder are taking the bait.
Yep. Double going. I don't want to drive this guy anymore. I don't want to drive this guy anymore. I want to go where he's. Please get me out of here. Please get me out of here. Unfortunately, able to get out of there, but let's see if it's going to be timely enough. Does manage to get the first hit off before Naleb can peek on over.
Don't hit a rock.
Literally.
Avoid the tree.
Yep. Doesn't seem like he's aware though. Oh, as I say that, no, I'm not sure actually that he's aware that Hibaka was playing the kind of the up close rock there. He's currently very committedly looking for double in the route.
No.
So maybe, oh, does he see him now? Nope. It's so easy for us to say that he was on your screen. Sure he was, but the peak came in from down below as he was looking elsewhere. Trouble. Or double, I should say. Gets Ivers down. That was the backfill. That was the help for Naylor, but now he's on his own.
Naleb still looking for Hibako. Sees the smoke. The problem is there are too many angles for him to look at. There are too many places they could pop up. Actually, to be fair, he managed to headshot Hibako before going down there, but that's Naleb down.
This is again a situation as well of teams that are...
Ele é o cara dos utilitários. É, mano, vai lá no modo treino e coloca lá bag 2, literalmente, pega bag 2 lá e carrega lá, coloca uns 4 kits, uns 2 biricos de cada, 160 balas 762, tá ligado? É, umas 3 smoke, algumas bang, né? E tenta colocar HE na bag. Aí depois puxa a bag 3 lá e tenta colocar, tá ligado? Pra ver como é que fica. Dá pra entender, velho. Foi quase, hein? Olha, Tilly, o que de você skills?
That said, Mexi will be able to clean... Jesus Christ. I was gonna say clean up, but God knows a vehicle might...
Olha quanto caro que tem ali, velho. Quanto crash. Aí assim, eu tenho a BBL aqui, ó. BBL de novo, ó. Eu não sei com quantas kills a BBL tá, mas, cara, de novo. A BBL, tá ligado? Top 4. E olha só, cara, tá aí, ó, top 3 e querendo ir pra cima, tá ligado? E pode passar face esse pá, tá ligado? Cara dos utilitários.
Trying to stay put, but I must say, I mean, that nade from Corexi, pre-nade to then peek it, that would have looked so good had he won that fight against Mexi too.
The Corexi-Mexi fight is now concluded. I don't think I can take much more tension in this. Like, my butt can only clench so much throughout half an hour. And I'm not going to the gym nearly enough to deal with this right now. I can tell you that much. We haven't spoken about BBL that much, actually. They've got that, like, trench position sort of outside that little shelter that you can't go in.
Yeah.
And Code Marco, remember, got the Orm and the level 3 gear. So I'm sat here thinking maybe they're just quietly setting up to try and back-to-back.
Remember when we hard shifted northeast second time around? BBL were west of Yasnaya Lake. They hard wrapped all the way north through Kameshki. That's the reason they only have 2 kills so far. Normally, you'd look at BBL as one of the early aggressors. They have been backfilling everyone the entire game. Every single time a team has gone, oh, you know what, I guess we'll just take the fight. BBL's gone, oh, I guess if you're going fighting, we might as well just take the position that you had before. They've been able to do that the entire game. It's not until now that they got an opportunity to engage on ends that they've actually been able to take shots, which also means that they're sitting well in utility. They should be pretty alright with Kevlar helmets too. They're looking very good for a back-to-back win here. And even though they only have 2 kills so far, this could easily end up becoming a 6-7 kill win for them.
Capturado.
And points for the chicken dinner, all important as well. Rustenmar gets finished
Capturado.
by Mixie. Team Liquid up to 3rd place. They've got 2 players. Thunder have 3. BBL have 4. So this is becoming very interesting.
Os caras ficaram literalmente na partida toda só tentando procurar a vitória. Olha lá, ó. 2 kills só, tá ligado? Literalmente 2 kills a BBL. Eles só, tipo, focaram a vitória nessa play. Literalmente só vitória.
Even if they manage to do so, how fast can they deal with Liquid, and while doing so, how does Thunder respond? Because Thunder needs the third party. If they get a chance to do anything here, they need to push forward. At least I would think so, James. Well, Code Margo might have avoided it, but Smash right in the face has to go down and heal on up. We'll see what move's gonna have evolved. James jumping around, trying to lob nades to everyone. I feel like he's single-handedly trying to deal with the entirety of BBL. At least the nades is letting BBL know that James knows exactly where all of them are.
Very close to knocking Ketper with that second nade as well was James. He just cooked it a little bit too much, and that could have ended up really making a huge difference to the outcome. He still can, though. Let's wait and see. 26.5-minute mark now. BBL have still got this ridge. It looks like everyone is just about back up.
Smart play from Ketpa. He knows that there's nothing to fear from Mexi inside the building. They need to worry about James.
Nossa, foi quase.
He's over on the other side, and he has to make a play. I don't imagine seeing Mexi make a push on out before James has somehow made a crossing on over. Now he's been spotted in the middle of the street. Thendelot's going to be the one to take him down. Out goes James, just Mexi left alive, and now we're looking down towards Thunder. What is the approach? What is the response on what's going on here? Marco, nice turn through the window. Takes one down. Thunder, not fast enough to punish BBL, but they have the circle. How does BBL play into this next one?
Significantly less.
Ele falou assim, o Cassie, né? Como que a BBL vai jogar no próximo círculo, né? Sendo que é full aberto. Cara, lugar eles têm para rotar. Tá tranquilo, tem negativa para trabalhar. Tem as árvores na frente, tá ligado? Dá para trabalhar muito bem. É 4x2, tá ligado? 4x3, perdão. Joga 2 em cada canto. GG, velho. 2 em cada canto, GG, mano. Entendeu? Dá pra fazer altas progressão aqui, mano. Dá pra fazer muita progressão boa, velho.
A 7-kill win is still 17 points that they very well need in order to try and play catch-up to Entropic sitting far up the top of that leaderboard. In the meantime, for Thunder, it's quite the opposite. They're far, far down. What is the overall lead? A good game here, I mean, which it already is, but a win here with the kills they already have and more added to it, it could potentially be a level can win. That would put them back up into the contest of the mid-pack. They're currently a bit below, but if they get 21 points here, they're right back in it.
Nades coming out now, searching for who's under the ridge line. A little bit of guesswork from BBL at the moment, because given a couple of seconds, Thunder could be anywhere.
This is the furthest south. This is the furthest south they've been all game, right? So they kind of have to scout with nades right now. They haven't had a chance to look this direction all game as they wrap north of Kameshki. So they're essentially scouting with nades right now, missing the good old days where a nade would also bounce you to the side. So if you're sitting behind a tree, like pushed you out from behind it. Of course, know that info available. Does spot one, Hirosen gets to live with the scare.
Phase 8 starting to move. 5 seconds now. Double solo on the southeast. Again, remember, BBL know none of this. So Thunder have got, potentially, the element of surprise on their side. I think BBL have enough nades left for 1 per tree at this point. I think that's their plan.
The thing is, since they don't know, they have to, like, fear opponents being at every single position. So they have to, I would assume, have to have someone looking at this rock as well. It's just going to be a timing thing for Double. He needs to find the perfect timing. And who's going to give him that info? That's going to be his teammates. Now the molly comes in, doesn't spread to him.
Nossa, foi quase, cara.
You know why, Toby?
There's no one there. What?
Rocks don't burn, Toby. 300 IQ from Double. These deforestation tactics don't work on him.
Able to find the first one. Thendelot's down, making it a 3v3. He is very isolated, though. Peek on over, and Smash will probably spot you. Now the blue comes in as well. He's just on the edge. He's actually starting to get tanked by it as well. Double falls down to the blue. Ketpa there to secure the point. final circle
3v2.
is here. It's gonna happen. It's gonna force everyone into the middle. But most importantly, I think for Hibako and Thunder, it's gonna force BBL downhill.
Gurus are now running out of
BBL wins
options,
this.
looking either side of a smoke. It's a 2v3. They need to get the next knock to buy themselves a bit of time to keep running. Hibako also reasonably
They get
close to the
it.
edge.
They get it.
Marco, though, from behind.
3x1 GG.
3v1.
Ele vai morrer pro gás.
All eyes on Hibako.
Thunder had a chance to aggress while the fight was happening.